Conversation with one of our staff members, whose father used to be the county attorney. He mentioned that executive session used to be held in the beginning of the meeting, and I have spoken with the prosecutor's staff, and they were open to this. And the reason why I would bring this to the board's attention for a decision is if we were to have the executive session at 9 a.m. and if we were to hold this part of the meeting at 10, the discussions that happened in executive session, we could bring to we could be asked by the public, so we could answer those questions, and we aren't asking people to get up and leave other than the beginning. So what would happen, there would be a call to order, and then we would immediately go into executive session, and then I'm giving a general assessment, we would go into that, and then at 10, we would have the members of the public come in, and we would be able to present to the members and answer their questions, and we would address some of those issues. So moving executive session to the beginning of the meeting. I spoke with the prosecutor and Mr. Wilson, and they were amenable to this. And if it took more than 10 a.m. so that we can actually honor the public's time, and we needed to an executive session afterwards, we would have to adjust as necessary. So I wanted to see what the board thought of this plan, if that's something that we should do. I personally am in support of it. The prosecutor was in support of it. So I wanted to bring it to Commissioner Williams and yourself as a discussion item to see if we could try to provide greater clarity to the public about what we're doing.
So I'll give a comment on this. So I don't really care where executive session sits. What I have an issue with is this is not to occur without the public. What's supposed to happen is we talk about, for example, there's a comment here that says HR personnel, and then discussing human resources, which is big. If we're going to discuss things other than a specific personnel item, that's what goes in executive session, but the other part is open to the public. And so we don't have executive session and then tell you what we did. We're supposed to pop in and pop out regardless of where it actually sits on the actual agenda. They will have to come and go because we should be encouraging them to stick around for executive session. If there was an agenda item discussion, I would recommend that we guarantee that we are going to have a set amount of time. 12 minutes is not reasonable when this number of people are coming to not be able to give real public comment. When they only get 3 minutes, you're saying you're stopping it at 12, and we have a significant number of people that are being pushed into coming into the building because we're not doing Zoom. So if we're going to adjust the agenda, I say we give the community guaranteed time to speak on each item and public comment. But executive session, they're going to have to come and go regardless of where it sits.
Sorry, I'm not...
If you want it at the beginning, fine, but I'm still going to tell everybody you need to be here at 9 because we have to pop in and out of executive session. That's the way you're supposed to run the meeting. I took a class on that.
And that's the way we do. We do go in and out for each individual item.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just curious what your thoughts are. It's our call as a board as to how we run this meeting. So Mr. Marshall is out there, I believe, waiting at some point for our executive sessions, but that's what I had to bring forward.
Well, I make a motion that we include giving a set amount of time for the public to give a comment, not that we stop it.
That's not the question that's up.
Well, I'm amending his amendment, which you can do. He has an amendment to move executive session, and I'm asking for an amendment similarly to what he did online. So I'm asking, as we amend the agenda, that we actually give public comment its due time, not 12 minutes.
That would be up to the chairman when the chairman is chairman, okay? So that's where that will go. So, and I am perfectly okay with going back to more public comment once this meeting runs smoothly. But until it runs smoothly, that's where we're going to be at.
What is it?
So the motion is on the floor.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarity, I don't know what the motion is. I mean, I was starting with the discussion, which is, it's not about the order of the agenda. There is nothing on my agenda item about that. It is regarding the organization of the Bonner County Business Meeting, and what I brought forward was whether or not we want to move executive session to the front of the meeting. Now, there isn't a motion on the floor, so Commissioner Williams, if you'd like to make a motion, I'm happy to hear it, but I'm not sure exactly what the motion is. So, I mean, at this point, I was just bringing.
I don't see the difference, so I don't, whether it's at the beginning or at the end, the community has to go and come for executive session. So I don't understand what you're asking for, so I don't have a reason to make a motion. So you might ask the chairman if he can make a motion for you somehow.
I was looking to have a conversation in open meeting so that we are not violating open meeting law, and we can have a discussion on how to best serve the public. And that.
But I did answer. What I said was executive session, what you said, the reason to move it is because the community has to come and go. And I'm saying the community has to come and go because it's executive session. So if you're wanting to slide executive session to the beginning of the agenda, it doesn't do anything different other than move it. They still have to get up and leave because you enter executive session and you come out and you discuss, and then if it's a decision item, you do the decision item in public.
We'll be here at 9, I think.